Tiffany Arielle here. It has been a while, but I'm back. I'm back with another video, finally. So right now I am in Jamaica. I am at the Grand Palladium Resort, which is, I believe, in a place called like Lucea, Jamaica, near Montego Bay. That's the airport I flew into. So I actually came out here for a wedding. One of my friends is getting married today, actually. So that's where I'm going after this. I got here yesterday, but I did not pick up this camera to update you. So let's do a quick little recap and then we'll move forward with the rest of the trip. So I got here yesterday, as I mentioned. I didn't really do much besides check in. Okay, so after I got settled into my room, I just kind of, got unpacked slightly, just did a little bit of relaxation after traveling here. Thankfully, the travel wasn't too bad because I did come from Houston. I was spending some time with my family before I came here. But if I would have come like directly from California where I live, it would definitely have been a much longer travel day because there were no direct flights from San Francisco Airport to Montego Bay. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to travel here from the West Coast. So we had a dinner last night. There were actually supposed to be the rehearsal dinner, but what ended up happening was those of us who were not in the wedding party, we just coincidentally had decided to go eat at the same restaurant that the rehearsal dinner was at. So we just kind of all ended up being all together at one big dinner, which was kind of nice. I was able to meet everybody because I don't know most of the other people who are here. And yeah, everybody's super cool so far. And yeah, it's been a good time.
Erica got talent.
So after dinner, we just kind of walked around. I didn't really get much footage of that part. There was a show that was going on. They called it an international show. So they were doing like different styles of dance. I will insert some clips here. Actually really pretty good. Like, it seemed like it was the same dancers kind of rotating, so they learned different styles of dance to represent like different regions of the world. Some of them I couldn't quite follow exactly what they were supposed to be representing, but some of them were pretty clear. So that was fun. And then we just kind of walked down to the beach. The beach was technically closed, I think, but we just put our feet in the water. We didn't like go swimming or anything, so there was no real risk or danger. And then we did live karaoke, which was a good time.
Have you ever searched for words to get you in their heart, but you don't know what to say, and you don't know where to start? Have you ever loved somebody so much it makes you cry? Have you ever needed something so bad?
after that, I just kind of came back to my room, went to bed, got some good sleep because it was a pretty long day yesterday. And then I got up this morning, had some breakfast, nothing crazy, didn't take a picture or anything of the food last night or today, but you know, it is what it is.
Hi, baby.
And now I'm in my room. I just finished getting ready and then I'll be heading out. So the wedding today is gonna be on the beach. I'm not gonna like vlog their wedding because that just doesn't feel appropriate. I might find a couple clips, you know, here and there. So you may see some bits and pieces, but if you don't see a lot, it's just out of respect for them and their, you know, their special day. So we have the ceremony and then we have a bit of a break and then we have the reception later on today. And then we'll see what happens after that. So before I head out, I did want to share one thing. This is not an ad, I promise you it's not, even though it's going to sound like one. So I have been on this, you know, health journey, and as part of that, I've been on a GLP-1 medication. And anybody who knows anything about those medications, you gotta be real careful with your food and everything, otherwise you can get messed up real quick. So I have to be really mindful about fiber and how much fiber I get. And one of the things that I've always struggled with was like when I'm traveling, especially getting enough fiber. So my dietitian had recommended trying some fiber supplements. So I did decide to try one that I saw this other dietitian on Instagram recommend. So it's called Supergut. I'm just sharing this because I've been enjoying this and other people may also find it beneficial. So these are the little travel packs. They have 3 different flavors. I got all 3 of them. They just came in like a variety pack. They also do have like canisters if you want this at home. But there's like 7 grams of fiber in here, which I think is pretty good. So I've been taking these like once a day while I'm traveling. And that has definitely been a huge, huge help to get my fiber in while I'm not at home and don't have as much control over my diet. Of course, electrolytes. I always travel with electrolytes as well. I have Liquid IV. Also not an ad, but just, you know, we always got to be mindful of our health even while we're away from home because we don't want any problems or any adverse health effects. So before I head out, I will show you guys the outfit. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the outfit. So I'm just wearing sandals. I don't have them on yet because we are going to the beach and not really a great idea to wear heels. So this is a dress, just like a pink satiny material, nothing crazy. So that's what I have on. My hair is braided, of course. I just did a little twisty in the front. And that's it. I think it's time to head out. See you guys later. Hello. It has been a while since I picked up this camera. I think the last time I updated you was on Thursday when I was going to the wedding. It is now Saturday, so that should tell you something. What have I been doing, you may ask? Well, I went to the wedding. The wedding was nice. It was beautiful. I was enjoying. I did take a couple little clips. You may see bits and pieces of the ceremony and the reception, but you know, they have their professional photographer, they have their professional videographer, so I don't want to put, you know, stuff out there that they may not approve of or go through the hassle of trying to be like, hey, can I post this to YouTube, blah, 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 like, you know. Also, I don't know most of the people who are here. I know the couple getting married, but outside of that, I don't really know any of the other people, so I don't want to put footage of them online where they may not have agreed to. So you'll see bits and pieces where I feel like it's appropriate, but I'm not gonna share too much about most of the group interactions that we've been having. So the recap of what's been happening is I went to the wedding on Thursday. We went to the ceremony. Wedding was really pretty. Beach background, like just seeing the beach in the background of where where they were standing to do the vows and everything was just really nice for pictures. I will say one benefit of having a smaller wedding is that they were actually able to get individual pictures with everybody. So literally every single person in attendance was part of the picture list where we all took pictures with a couple professional ones with the photographer, which I think is kind of nice because you really get like those memories with everybody at your wedding because there's not that many people. Like I think I'm not sure how many, but I would say it's probably like 30 something people in total that's here, which is not a lot. So it's much more manageable. Everybody's able to kind of hang out in a group, and like it's a different type of experience. And I'm enjoying it, honestly, as an attendee. And I think that if I were to ever get married, I would probably want like a similar vibe where it's not like so many people. Like, let's keep it really small and intimate and just have everybody hanging out, and it's just a different vibe. So yeah, so we had the ceremony, then there was a break before the reception, then we had reception, which was pretty standard wedding reception. You know, you have toasts, you have dinner, you have dancing, you have the first dance, you have all the things.
This is why I love you. I wanna learn, open my heart, she give me oil, pull me back and push me forward.
And then after that, we went on the property, they have multiple bars, but one of the bars is a sports bar. And that bar is open almost the entire day. It closes at like 7 a.m., I think, and then opens again at like 9 a.m. So it's pretty much always open. So they have bar food in there. So you can get like hot dogs, nachos, pizza, stuff like that, just like grab and go self-serve. And then they also have a menu that you can order off of if you want like tacos or things like that. And then of course there's an actual bar, and they have all the TVs with all the different sports playing, which is kind of nice. It can get a little bit loud if there's something going on. For example, last night we went there again, and it did get loud during the basketball game. The Knicks Spurs game 2 was on, and that was a bit chaotic. But outside of when there's like a big game, like it wasn't too manageable. Kind of a cool place to just hang out, maybe have a snack, have a drink, and just like chit chat, hang out with people. So we went there after the wedding, and then I went to bed. By the time I got back, I was just tired. I went to bed. Yesterday, I slept as long as I could. I got up, grabbed some breakfast really quick. I just had an omelet and some fruit from the buffet here. And then we all went to a group activity. So one of the attendees is actually from Jamaica, and so she helped to arrange this. So we went to a place called Basin Falls. This I did get footage of, so I took some video of the falls itself, which was really pretty. It wasn't like a big waterfall, so not anything like super impressive, but I do think it was a good place for a group to hang out because some of the attendees were kind of older, not super mobile, and so you don't want to do anything that's going to be too involved to get to. And also it was just nice because of course you have the pools like right at the bottom of the fall, or there was the part like at the top before the first of the waterfalls that we could see, and those were just nice places to hang out, chill in the water. It's a hot day outside, so it's just nice to be in like cool water, hang out, take pictures, and just have a good time. Oh, we're still going. I mean, they did say we had some walking. This isn't as steep though. Oh, is that a worm? Huh.
Is it?
I think it is.
I thought it was a teacher.
to go this way.
And then we left from there and we went to, I think it was a craft market in like Montego Bay proper. It was not what I was expecting. Like, I feel like I was expecting more like handmade items from the people versus like just, it was very like touristy. Like, you could tell it was very much for tourists. Like, it's not something that local people would go to at all. Everything was just more like your very stereotypical, like Jamaica written on, you know, a t-shirt, a dress, a jersey, a hat, a shot glass, whatever type of item you could imagine. They did have some cute like beaded jewelry. I feel like that was probably the best part. One girl did buy some waist beads there, which they were cute. They looked nice. Some people did buy some things. I personally did not, because I'm not that type of person. I don't really like the labeled, that's just not how I live my life. So we left from there. We attempted to go to this patty place. I forgot what it was called, but they were closing soon. They were actually out of patties for the day, which was kind of disappointing. So we ended up just coming back to our resort where we're staying, and we had dinner on site, which thankfully they had patties and they also had oxtail. The patties were pretty good. I did enjoy them. The oxtail was not the best oxtail I've had, but again, we're on a resort. They're cooking in mass, you know, so I think that obviously influences things. So after that, we ended up going back to the sports bar, just hanging out again. And then I just went to bed. This morning, I slept in. I did not get out of bed until like 12 o'clock. Just got dressed. I'm about to head out soon. I think I'm gonna go grab some lunch. And then if the weather clears up, I may go to the pool today, or there's some water activities that are on site. They have like a few different things. I'll put the screenshot on the screen of what they offer. So we may do some of that later, but it's kind of rainy today. It was thundering earlier. They actually made everybody get out of the pool because of the thunder and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure what the rest of the day is gonna look like, but stay tuned. I'll update you when I get Yesterday was a good time. It was fun. I got in pretty late. It was around like 3 a.m. when I got in. So I'm just now picking up the camera. It is now after 1 p.m. I am headed to get some food right now, and then I'm planning to go to a sugarcane class. So that's what I'll be doing this afternoon, and then we'll see what happens after that. Yesterday, I ended up going to the pool and then had dinner at the Italian place, and then we watched the cultural show, and then we went to, there was an all-white party, which I was not appropriately dressed for because I did not pack white clothes, but it was still a good time. So probably one of the most fun I've had in a while, so I'm pretty happy with how this trip has gone. Very different from how it is when I travel by myself, for sure, but good and different in a good way. So yeah, I'm on my way now to get food, and I'll check in later. As you can see, I am back at home. It has been a little bit of time since I picked up this camera. I think the last time I mentioned I was going to the sugarcane class. The sugarcane class got canceled because of weather, and so I ended up not really doing anything for the rest of that day. I was just kind of in bed chilling. So I wanted to just share a couple of thoughts about the resort, and just in case you're interested in, staying there. I'm just looking at my notes. So all in all, I will say that I had a good experience at the hotel. Again, this was the Grand Palladium Jamaica, which is near Lucea, like in between Montego Bay and Negril. They do have two parts. There's Grand Palladium Jamaica and there's Grand Palladium Lady Hamilton. Those are both attached to each other. You can pick whichever one. I will say, if you choose to stay here, I might be inclined to recommend the Grand Palladium Jamaica over the Grand Palladium Lady Hamilton, because the group that I was in, some of us were on the Jamaica side and some of us were on the Lady Hamilton side, and those who were on the Lady Hamilton side had more issues with like AC, ceiling fans not working, things of that nature, which is obviously not ideal when you're in a place like Jamaica where it is hot. Whereas I and like the people that I talked to who were on the Jamaica side didn't have any issues with like electricity or ceiling fans or AC or anything like that. So I'm not really sure what they had going on there. I would say that was probably the main downside to the resort. Outside of that, I think the resort was nice. They seem to be doing fairly well after the hurricane. Didn't really seem to have too much damage. The staff was amazing, super friendly. Food was great. Multiple of the meals that I had, especially the last two, the one I had at the Italian place and the one that I had at the seafood place, were meals that I would have paid money for, like at a proper restaurant. So I definitely enjoyed the food. Even the buffet food was pretty good. So food is great. Entertainment was great. I really enjoyed the cultural shows that they had every evening, and also the party. Like, I went to the all-white party. They had other parties which probably were equally as fun, and they did have karaoke as well, which I do enjoy, so that was a good time also. So I would say for food and entertainment, great. In terms of the pool is giant. It is huge. So it's kind of nice, like in the sense that you don't feel like crowded or cramped on top of each other. However, the pool does close at 6 p.m. So if you are a person who wants to like swim at night, it's not great for that. You cannot swim after 6 p.m. unfortunately. So as I mentioned before, the staff is nice. This is probably not specific to this resort, but if you are a woman who's traveling alone or with other women, please be warned, the men are very flirty. They weren't like weird or creepy in my opinion, but they're very much flirty. And so you kind of have to be prepared. Like, am I going to engage with the flirtation or am I going to just, you know, shut it down? So I would say just be prepared for that. Like I said, I don't think they were creepy or weird or anything like that. I never felt unsafe. I never felt like boundaries weren't going to be respected or anything of that nature. You can always walk away. Like it's not that deep, but just don't be caught off guard. That's all I have to say about that. One thing I really did like about the resort was they gave us these wristbands. I don't have the wristband on right now. They cut it off when you leave. But if you've been to a music festival, you're probably familiar with the type of wristbands. They're basically these like little fabric ones that you tighten and you can't like loosen, and they have a chip inside. So that chip was used to unlock the room, and it was also used for like entry into the restaurants. That's how they verify like who's actually supposed to be there and who's not, which I found very convenient. You don't have to worry about like, oh, I left my key in my room. Oh my God, do I have my key? Your key is attached to you. It's great. It did take a little bit of getting used to, like lining up the chip with the sensor on the door. But once I got used to it, like I loved it. So I loved that they did that. They have golf carts that you can call if you need a shuttle to kind of get to and from. They're not the best at dispatching them. When I arrived, I didn't have any problems. When I left and I needed a shuttle to get to the lobby to check out, no problems. They came very quickly. But if you just are trying to go to the other side of the resort, that can be a little bit tricky. You can walk, but again, it is fairly large. There's 2 sides to that resort and they are working on expanding. That won't be anytime soon, but just be mindful of that. I would say if you're planning to go here, ideally be prepared to walk for like 10 to 20 minutes to get to and from places. If you're not able to do that, you can use the golf carts. They might be a little bit more diligent about golf carts if you're like elderly or something and you can't. It is much easier to get the golf carts if you go to the lobby and get on one as opposed to trying to call it to be picked up from your room. So if you're doing that, again, I would also recommend the Jamaica side because the Jamaica side is much more compact and it's not a super long walk from the Jamaica side to the lobby. So if you're trying to get from the Jamaica side to the like Lady Hamilton side, you can just walk to the lobby, ask them for the golf cart, and then they'll just put you on one to take you to the other side. That was what I did when I was going to and from the wedding because I really didn't want to walk and be like even more sweaty and things of that nature. But a lot of the time I ended up just walking to the other side and like it really wasn't that bad, but I'm used to walking, so just something to keep in mind. The last thing I wanted to mention is the room service. So it is an all-inclusive resort. This is the first time that I've experienced anything like this at an all-inclusive. I've only stayed at, I think, 2 all-inclusives prior to this. So I don't have a whole lot of experience with all-inclusives, but the room service did come with a fee. So the food was free, but they charge you $18 for like delivery, which I found strange. I've never encountered that before. I have no issue like leaving a tip for the delivery people. But $18 is kind of a lot just for quote unquote delivery. Like that's kind of crazy in my opinion. If it was like $5, I would have been like, okay, you know, fine. But $18, I don't know about that. Now, somebody else in the group did seem a bit surprised by that. So I'm not sure if the fee varies based on like what type of room you booked or like how you booked or things like that. But just something to keep in mind if you want to order room service. Now, you don't have to order room service. If you're hungry late at night, there is a sports bar. The sports bar is open like 22 hours a day. So you can always just walk there and get food if it's outside of standard meal times. So it's not like that big of a deal. Like I personally just chose not to order room service, but there were a couple times that it would have been convenient to order room service. And I did find that a bit of a downside. On a similar vein, I know they had Red Bulls in one of it was like a coffee bar. So they had like regular coffee, but then they also had like coffee cocktails. They had Red Bull at that bar, and the Red Bulls were also not free. Those came with a room charge. So I'm not sure if there was anything else that maybe wasn't included, but just keep in mind, all inclusive is kind of like not fully all inclusive, but it's more like mostly inclusive, if that makes any sense. So that's pretty much all I had to share. I do plan to go back to Jamaica at some point, because like I said, this trip I was mostly hanging out with people. I didn't really get to go out and explore as much as I typically would like to do when I'm traveling. So I'll probably go back to Jamaica at some point. I probably will stay in a different resort. However, you know, I wouldn't discourage you from staying in this resort. Just keep in mind the things that I've shared so that you can make an informed decision. And yeah. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye.